I would rather die than quit.
And you think that fight can be through blockchain technology?
Exactly. I want my wife and my kid to live in the free country Ukraine deserves to be.
2022 was supposed to be a time of healing, and then bam, Russia announces the invasion of Ukraine.
Тем более я много читала истории, когда началась война.
At literally any given moment, I can lose my father.
We see the biggest displacement of people since World War II, 90% of them women and children. But what if the banks in your country shut down and you couldn't get any money? How would you survive?
У мене як такових грошей не було що забирати, скажімо так.
Is crypto the future of humanitarian aid?
With the crypto, it's literally unstoppable. I would always give my life for that fight.
When civilians started fleeing from Ukraine and arriving here in Poland, many didn't go to refugee camps. They ended up in kind people's homes. I'm going to meet Svetlana today, one of those refugees.
Мене звати Світлана. Я приїхала із України, з міста Житомира. Приїхала, коли почалась війна. 9 березня ми приїхали в Польщу. Ми не знали, що їсти, ми не знали, де гроші брати.
Svetlana and her daughter are just two of over 7 million Ukrainian refugees waiting to go home. So you were living a pretty normal life in Kiev, and then things changed in an instant. What did you pack as soon as you had to leave?
Пакувалися, у нас не було часу навіть на пакування, скажімо, такого, тому що біля нас 500 метрів від нас. У мене як такових грошей не було що забирати, скажімо так. І почалася якась паніка почалася в людей. Люди почали всі знімати гроші, в кого скільки було, і в банку були на початку якісь обмеження. З цим було трохи важко.
Svetlana's story is sad, but it's not unique. Refugees around the world leave their jobs behind for safety, and they often run out of money. Families affected by war is a somewhat unconventional problem that sometimes needs an innovative solution. I'm at a hackathon in Warsaw, Poland, where I'm going to meet with Rev Miller, who started the Unchained Fund to deliver humanitarian aid to refugees using the blockchain. Since escaping Ukraine with just his wife and daughter, Rev has raised over $9 million in aid. Now he plans to go back into Ukraine to host his own hackathon in defiance of the Russian invasion.
Hey, man.
Hey, where am I?
It's a hackathon. Welcome.
Dude, I've never been to a hackathon. What are we doing here?
Here, hackers, builders, meaning like developers and creatives, have 48 hours to build something meaningful and something that will utilize Web3 technology from all the sponsors.
So these are builders, but they're not building with bricks, they're building on the web.
Yeah, using the code. They are spending here 48 hours non-stop.
This is their lives for the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, and last but not least, who's this character?
Oh, here's my partner and co-founder. Hey.
Man.
Hey, what's up, bud?
Hey, what's up?
You know what?
So this initiative is sending crypto donations efficiently to those who need it most. So right now what I'm doing is adding a list of like reputable folks who have agreed to support us.
Yeah.
And giving them control of this wallet.
Yeah.
So that when funds are donated into it, in order to move funds out of it, for example, like 6 out of 9 people have to co-sign before the funds can be moved. So for example, we can provide support in terms of food, sanitation, water, and shelter.
But there's a lot of charities playing in this space right now, a lot of humanitarian organizations. What's your problem with the existing way that things are being done?
The crypto community has always shown that actually they care and that they can coordinate community and capital much faster than like pre-existing rails and organizations and get the help fundamentally to where it's needed. So for example, like in the context of Ukraine, the European Union announced that they will support Ukraine with 100 million euros, by which time the crypto community had already actually distributed 109 million euros in support. So actually the global crypto community is being more efficient than a superstate like the European Union.
The other thing people care about if you're donating money in a humanitarian context is transparency and accountability. And crypto sometimes has a bad reputation around that, right?
You know, everybody's always talking about crypto like it's this super criminal mode of operating. But if you will put money into like crypto or on-chain fund, there is reputable folks that are actually accountable for custodying those funds and for moving them in collaboration altogether. But what we are seeing here is a radical turning point in terms of how we actually approach fundraising and to make a positive impact on the world.
What really excites me, you're 21 years old, you're 24. So many people are using this blockchain technology to actually make the world a better place. And I'm so excited to see what you're going to build. Thanks so much. So Rev, you're originally from Ukraine.
Yeah.
What was your reaction like when you heard Russia was invading?
It's kind of crazy seeing this footage of your, like the city where you grew up being bombed. My father he's actually still in Kharkiv.
Currently living
Yes.
near the front line.
At literally any given moment, I can lose my father, right?
Do you know anyone who's lost their lives?
Yeah, I lost two of my friends. I have a friend that used to live in Kharkiv. It was a shocking and really very emotional day for me because the bomb hit his house and most of the people, including him, died. It's hard. It sort of motivates me to move forward and help even more people because the more we help each other, the sooner we get into the victory of Ukraine. Tomorrow I'm planning together with my good friend and co-founder travel to Ukraine, travel to Kiev for the big event we call it Kiev Tech Summit. It's a hybrid, hackathon / mini conference that we're kind of creating to keep, even in this sort of, wartime, providing value, humanitarian solutions to those in need.
Every day though, people are still dying in Ukraine. Are you not worried for your personal safety?
I want to be there. I want to keep on continuing helping people, at the same time onboarding people in Web3 through different activities and partnerships and organizations that we can onboard to this new era of blockchain technology.
Before Rev leaves for Ukraine, he's arranged to help Svetlana with the onboard process for the Unchained Fund. With this financial help, Svetlana and her daughter can finally return home. Okay, so Rev, what does Svetlana need to qualify for Unchained funding?
And you need to have a kid that's under the age of 16.
And Svetlana, your daughter is 13?
13.
All right, let's see how that process works.
So the first thing, you need to register on the platform which helps you to issue the card. Then once the system verifies, okay, everything is legit, we proceed to the next step where you actually need to do a selfie check.
Okay, so the phone is now scanning her face and that's the second form of identification.
Exactly, yeah. Then you qualify and the system issues you the bank card, debit card.
Oh, sick. So now she's got the Unchained card.
Exactly, yeah.
And this works like a Apple Pay or whatever,
exactly.
You just tap it and go.
Exactly. And even more so, you can actually use that and get the cash.
So, Svetlana, so many of these young innovators that I've met, when this war hit, they mobilized trying to create solutions for people like you.
Я хочу перш за все сказати дякую від себе, від своєї дитини, від всіх тих матерів з дітьми, які отримали цю допомогу. Це вони дуже велику роботу роблять для людей.
At the end of the day, this solution is very much a band-aid. It's not a permanent fix. We need to end this war and get people like you back home. Thanks so much for your time. It's a quiet, peaceful morning here in Poland, but today Rev heads into the active war zone that is Ukraine. It must be really difficult. How long is it going to be before you see your kid and wife again?
I don't know. It's pretty hard to say goodbye to your wife and daughter, especially in this wartime where you understand deep down that there is always a chance that you might not come back.
You have got thousands of Ukrainians, millions of Ukrainians that are still trying to leave the country.
Yeah.
And you're like a firefighter running into the building just with your kind of laptop.
Yeah, it just feels right. Deep in my heart.
If you were to lose your life, like so many of your fellow countrymen, like your friends, was it worth it?
I want to show to the world that, bombs will not stop the builders. And the way to show it is by personal example.
So CJ, Rev's going back to Ukraine because he was born in Ukraine and he feels he has a social and moral responsibility to be there. Why are you going?
I really believe in the future of Ukraine, and I want to be back there in Ukraine together with Rev, helping to accelerate and rebuild the startup ecosystem, provide as much impact as we possibly can.
Goodbyes are never easy, but this is a particularly strange one. We're on the safe soil of Poland, and you guys are about to walk a couple hundred meters across the border into an active war zone. What are you thinking about? Who are you thinking about?
Actually, my family, my wife and my kid.
What would you say to your wife right now?
That I love her very, very, very much. And I'm doing this for my kid. I want my kid to live in the free country that Ukraine deserves to be. I would always give my life for that fight, because I would rather be like standing and fighting for my freedom rather than being on my knees and accepting someone's tyranny.
And you think that fight can be not necessarily through guns but through technology?
Exactly. We are in the age where the technology not just matters, it's vital for our day-to-day lives.
CJ, how are you feeling?
Obviously, I'm a little bit nervous right now. And I'm excited for the summit overall and the impact that we can make. My heart, soul, mind, body is ready for it.
I wish you guys a safe trip.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yusuf.
Good luck.
Let's do it, man.
Watching Rev cross that border, I've got kind of mixed emotions. Like on one side, it's exciting to see young Ukrainians heading back to their country to make a difference. But on the other side, he's walking into a war zone and he's leaving his daughter and wife on the other side. The nature of this conflict is just changing so quickly, he has no idea when he's going to be able to get out.
Hey Yusuf.
Rev, how are you, mate?
Yeah, it's been like extreme, I would say, experience. But yeah, I'm safe, I'm doing fine.
Talk to me about your hackathon.
Hackathon went really great. We have more than 550 hackers all around the globe. But what surprised us the most is the appearance of Vitak Butern, the founder of Ethereum Network. Everyone was so excited.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think what we've done is life-changing for Ukraine and the global crypto community, because it's the start of the next wave of Web3 revolution.